Hello folks, this is Carrie121 coming to you with a loadout video for the USS Des Moines. She is the Americans', well, kind of an in-between heavy and light cruiser. In all reality, she was actually considered a battle cruiser for her size. But today we're going to talk about what kind of loadouts and gameplay style we have set up and can use for this ship. Now, she is a tier 10, and she does have very good rapid firing guns, even more so if you have the Adrenaline Rush loadout on your captain. But taking information from the wiki page, there are a couple different setups that you can do for her. The first one, which I don't really recommend, is the anti-aircraft build. For this one, it's recommending that for the equipment, we have the auxiliary armament mod for the slot 1, the AA gun mod 1 for slot 3, and for the sixth, auxiliary main armament mod 2. Again, with the way they have carrier set up right now, it's really not worth uh, having that kind of setup unless maybe in a clan battle you're parked with the carrier and your sole purpose is to just help defend against aircraft coming in to try to take it out. I don't recommend this, but again, these are based on maybe what kind of preference your playstyle is. For me, my preference is the Advanced Surveillance Radar Mod 1, which gives me an extra 20%. That gives me almost one full minute, about 45 seconds, 50 seconds on radar. That's a long time. Uh, the steering gear to help me kind of shift around, either in reverse or going forward. And then the fire control system mod, which gives me an extra range up to 18.4. This ship is really good for parking, bow tanking off of islands, kind of peeking out, just sending HE spam downrange and backing off, and kind of rinse and repeat. That's my play style. That is how this is played out. There actually is a way with the loadout to get this USS Des Moines up to a 22.08 range. If you were to do something that I don't recommend, but again it's your play style, is to swap out the surveillance radar for spotting aircraft. Again, you can get a longer action time than consumable if you have the spotting range mod 1. That gives you an additional 30%. So that gives you a minute or 130 seconds if you were to take the spotting aircraft. That's a long time. And these shells are not that fast. You're looking at HE shells at 823. That's a long hang time. And to try to hit stuff with almost a 15-second shell drop, that's up to you. But at 22K, again, not something I recommend, but again, it's up to your playstyle. The Des Moines, in my opinion, can bow tank to a point. She does suffer from just heavy damage from HE rounds, depending on the ship that's hitting her with it, other heavy cruisers, battleships. But her primary role is to support DDs going into caps. You can sneak in, pop the radar, spam some HE rounds. Right, this build out's at 5.5 seconds. That's a lot of shells coming out of this thing to help support the DDs. Without the AA build that Wiki was suggesting, it's already sitting at 83 out of 100. Again, she's pretty decent. She can hold her own. Again, her role, support the DDs. She's not the fastest uh, cruiser, but with a speed flag, you can get her up to about 36 knots. So the rudder shift time is 6.9, and with a concealment of 10.9, that's just about your radar range. So the minute you know you get spotted, you can pop that radar and start slamming shells at that poor DD. So how I have her equipped is I have my hydro, because again, we know that they've kind of nerfed this a little bit with the current CV build. So hydroacoustic search is good, especially if you're uh, angle tanking off of islands, those destroyers from coming in and insta-torping you. You got 3.5K range for torps and 5K for ships. So should give you plenty of reaction time to move or start spamming those HE rounds. Second, surveillance radar. Again, I don't recommend the fighter. I don't recommend the spotting aircraft. The primary mission of the ship is to support pushing units. As far as modules, I recommend main armament mod 1, just because with bow tanking, it's less likely your front turrets are going to get destroyed. Second, use some coal, get the surveillance radar mod 1. If not, damage control 1 mod. But again, I do recommend surveillance radar mod 1. The third, obviously, aiming system mod. You know, the dispersions, the grouping on them is great, especially at, you know, a 10, 11K range. Can definitely do some damage. I don't recommend the traverse speed because the turrets themselves are relatively fast. You're looking at a 30-second, 180-degree turn time, and especially if you're backing out and pushing forward, you get more benefit out of this than you would this. Secondary batteries. I haven't seen a secondary build on a Des Moines, and at a 7K, 7.6K range, I suppose you could. Bumping it up 20%, that's just under 9. Uh, Possibly. I wouldn't think that would be too bad, especially if you're up there helping with the DD's cap and anti-DD. Don't go against the AA gun mod 1. Again, with the carriers the way they are, you're not going to wipe out a full squadron coming in for an attack by yourself. So again, it's sort of wasted. For number 4, again, total preference. You could use any 3 of these. Again, it's up to your choice. I like the rudder shift time because I can wiggle and maneuver a little better for getting around islands. Concealment mod, again, I have that on almost all of my cruisers. And lastly, gunfire control system 2. You could go for the reload time, which would drop it to 4.8 from 5.5, but again, I'm really not too keen on doing that because if I get into trouble, that's a very short range. I mean, you're going to 15, you're going from 18.4 to 15.8, I believe, is the range without that. So again, your play style, your choices. But for me, I think this is a winning recommendation. I've done well in it. I get a 60% win rate. You know, that's my purpose in this ship, is to support DDs going into cap. So for the exterior, your basic flags, your speed, consumables, AA damage, your HE flags, your anti-detonation flag, and because she does very susceptible to fire, you you got your fire flag on, and then your hull repair. As far as camo, with me, when I accomplish getting a tier 10, hey, I worked hard for it. I plan on keeping it, so I go with the premium camo, the permanent one. As far as other camos, there's so many to go through, and it just is enough time. Obviously, you pick it based on whatever style you'd like, what rewards you're looking for and getting. But for me, I recommend permanent camo. You work that hard to get that ship, might as well keep it. So, hope you enjoyed this, and appreciate what your feedback is on your Des Moines builds versus mine, and hope to see you out in the waters. Good hunting, captains.